Hello and welcome to Behind the Lines. I'm Diane Dayton. Today, we're going to get inspired. I was inspired yesterday and I'm still inspired today after going to Inspiration Communications training with my guest today. Doug Cox, you are the founder and president of Cox & Associates and North Star. You were the presenter yesterday with a workshop. Thank you for being with us today.
It's my honor, Diane. I'm happy to not only meet you, but to have you share the program yesterday. You were great. And I'm very happy to be here and to visit with your friends.
Well, you were absolutely wonderful yesterday, and it was so inspiring, and I think it's great that we can actually share this with everybody today, too. You were born in Hollywood, California, and you live in Las Vegas, so you're visiting with us for a little bit. You're an author of this new book, Shaboom, The Power of Positive Aging, which we're going to get into. But what I think is really important, too, is that people understand who you are, and where you've come from, and why you do what you do.
Oh, I just love people so very much. You know, I think sometimes when you write a book, and I mentioned in the book, you think that the author is born with a silver spoon. But as you and I have talked, neither one of us were born with a silver spoon. We go through the very same things that everybody else goes through. And my great joy is getting up and saying, you know, I did this. This happened to me. So what? So what? So what? And people are allowed to step over the fence and move on with their life. You don't get over it, you don't get on with it.
Yeah, that's right. You draw from a lot of different areas and a lot of experience. I mean, you've been involved in the corporate world. You ran 2 radio stations in California, right?
That is correct, yes.
And you're also the president of the Smothers Brothers Record Company?
Yes, I was. For those of your viewers who remember the Smothers Brothers, that was a most wonderful time. Because Tommy Smothers, who is still a very wonderful friend, and John Lennon and George Harrison, they were good friends. So getting to know them, being around Steve Martin, enjoying that was a great experience in life. Smothers was fun.
You also promoted a lot of artists too, because you became good friends with them too.
Absolutely so. I had the great gift of being a promotion director for Atlantic Records.
Yeah.
And some of the artists that were there who I got to work with were Aretha Franklin, Otis Redding, who I love and miss terribly, Bobby Darin. I remember when the Bee Gees came from Australia for the first time, and they flew into Miami for an Atlantic ATCO convention. And Robert Stigwood put them on the plane with me to fly back to California, and I took them for their first tour. And people love Bee Gees music, even if you can't stand some of the stuff they do. The Bee Gees were the kindest, most genuine human beings that I ever met. Seeing them on the airplane that first day, looking out the window, wanting so much to see America and take pictures. It was a great experience with Atlantic Records.
Eric Clapton too. Right?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yes, Cream, sure.
Yeah.
Quite a wonderful guy, and he does so many good things for people. He works and produces events for people who are addicted and gives them the chance to be clean and sober. And quite a guy.
Yeah.
And what a guitarist.
You know, yesterday with the workshop, with communications training, that's essential for all of us. When did you start doing this? And I know you've done this for a lot of different groups, right, Doug?
Yes. Many years ago, I worked for 24 years as a consultant for the Redken, the hair company.
Yes.
And they were very good friends. And in the beginning, I was working with hairdressers, and eventually barbers began to be involved. Redken started a barber division. And the barbers came to me one day and said, you know, I watch you on stage. We want to talk like you. My point was, you don't ever want to talk like me. What you want to do is talk like you. And they said, well, teach us how. Diane, truly, I didn't know how to do that. I had to borrow tapes from my friend from Lancaster, Paula Severino, and Paula had recorded me on cassette in the day, and I listened to myself talk, and I said, oh, that's kind of how I do it. And I began to produce that, and I've been invited all over the world to do what we call the North Star training, because everyone says, I want to reach out, I want to touch the audience, and I want to elicit a favorable, hopefully, response, and that's what it's for. And it feels good doing that, like yesterday.
Oh, it does feel good. And once again, we were talking about our good friend, Paula Severino. She's the one who brought you to our area for this wonderful workshop yesterday, and she is dynamite herself. She is just an amazing person. What we got out of yesterday was bringing our authentic selves to the conversation. And that's not always easy to do.
No.
So the environment that you create, the comfort that you create, is magic.
Well, I thank you for that, and it's I think that's more of a gift than it is something I schooled. You know, I'm an uneducated man in a sense. I'm a doctor of lifeology, but I think it's very true that there are those of us who come and speak in public, both lovely women and men, who speak in a way that the audience says, it's okay, I'm okay. You know, this guy came from an alcoholic family. He's a molested kid. You know, he never met his dad. All those things that so many people go, oh, this is, oh my gosh, this is, what I'm saying is I'm right with you. Yeah. And I think the audience starts slowly in a group of 19 people yesterday, but they start to say, I think it's okay. And it's truly other guests and attendees who help the person next to them go, it's going to be all right. And we touch each other and we go. And so, good question.
Yeah, it was really, really good. This book, I love. You wrote it for who?
These are for shaboomers.
And they
it's
are.
a name I made up. It's anybody between the age of 50 and 100.
I love it.
And the first 3 books were bought by guys that were 30. And one of the guys said the funniest thing. I said, what do you don't need this book. You're not 50 years old yet. You're not a shaboomer. He said, well, I wanted it for me so I'll be ready when I get there. He said, and I ordered 2 extra copies for grumpy grown-ups that I know.
Oh, that's funny.
Thank you.
That's
I
good.
mean, we all know a grumpy grown-up.
That's good.
Great gift.
Yep. Now, when you look through this book, you're going to see a lot of blank pages, some with lines, and there's a reason for that.
Oh, absolutely. Good question. The reason is it is our book. I've always been an inclusive speaker. Inspirational, you said. I'm not a motivational trainer. And in this book, the point of that is it's journaling. A chance to write down, and with each of the 18 chapters, you go along and it says, you know, my dream is important to me, so take some notes on what is your dream? Like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. What is your heart's desire? Go write that down. And as you go through the 18 chapters, you school yourself to begin to bring heart and head together on those blank pages. And then at the very end, it says, you will leave, for better or worse, a legacy for your family and friends and for this struggling world. And the second half of the book is where you have the ability to write in and begin to fulfill that obligation. And you're schooled on how to do it. I don't ever leave you standing going, what did he say? I hope.
Right, no. You've been referred to as a dream catcher.
Oh, yes.
Expound.
I am, Dreamcatcher is a big thing to Native Americans. I have the wonderful gift of being friends and work with the Seminole tribe of Florida. And I really love those people, and it turns out they enjoy me, which is really nice. And I've always thought that a dream catcher is a magic thing. It's in Australia, it's called dream time, where when the sun goes down behind the horizon, your thoughts and your dreams go out and they come back and bring to you the best of it and throw away the worst of it. And that's what a dream catcher does to Native American people. And so many people I have met over this long, wonderful life of mine have said, well, you know, how do you do this? How do you accomplish this? The answer is you need to dream. And you need to commit your dreams to paper, which is taught in this wonderful book at any age.
Yes.
Dreams are timeless and they are ageless. And it's so important. And when I wrote the book, people said, you know, I see you on stage, you're running around, you love everybody, you're hugging everything, you're laughing, you're jumping, you're doing. How do you do this? Well, it's simple. I just said, I'm excited. They said, but how do you do it at your age? How old are you? Well, when I started working on this, I was 75. Well, somebody said, oh, I can't believe you're 75. How do you do this? I said, I'm not going to tell you. Buy my book. I was joking, of course. But the fact is there are things, Diane, that we can do to make life, wherever we stand, far better. And that's what the intent of the book. And Shaboom is such a wonderful song.
Yes, it is.
Just recently in the movie Cars, Shaboom, Shaboom.
That's right.
So I knew when my grandkids could sing it, I'd picked a good title.
Yeah, for sure. It's all inclusive. We're going to take a moment and just put up, Amazon is where you can get this book. Is that right?
That is correct, yes.
Okay.
There is a one-click website you can go on and take a look at it, get a feel of it. Sure.
Yeah. We're going to take a brief pause, and we come back. We're going to talk more about Shaboom, the book about Doug Cox. We're going to be inspired. Stay with us. Welcome back to Behind the Lines. We're with Doug Cox. We're talking about his book, Shaboom, The Power of Positive Aging, for anyone 50 to 100, but you can get it earlier, too.
And people do.
They
That
do.
surprised me, but I think it's wise to get started early.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about dreams.
Yes.
And making a dream sheet. Tell me more about that.
That's a wonderful question. Most of the people that you and I know have a driver's license. In the old days, we used to have photographs in our wallet. Today we carry them in our cell phone. But the fact is, most people don't have in that pocket or purse their dreams. And so someone else is always stepping out of the seats in the back of the plane and taking over your life. What I discovered is the moment I began to create my dream sheet, which truly is a flight plan, all of a sudden I'm in command. I ask the pilot to step aside. I jump into the front seat and say, here is where I intend to go. Through all the turbulence, through all the smooth air, my flight, my plane, I'm captain. Someone is going to determine where your life goes as you go along. My question in the book is, why shouldn't that someone be you? Actually, in the book, the very last chapter is a complete description of how to create a dream sheet. And here, I'll be 77 one day this week. I still carry in my pocket my dream sheet. It's there now.
There's something powerful about literally writing it down.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes, you're right. You're very wise. I don't know if you ever saw the book, The Hidden Messages in Water by Dr. Emoto, but he talks about the fact that one of his assistants in the laboratory in Japan had written a note on a petri dish that had water in it. And the note was, sorry I missed out, love you. And when they came back and looked at that water, the water was absolutely crystal pure, but it had had bacteria from a very rough place in Japan before. So what happened? It was the language that changed it. And Emoto said something that I found very positive and true, and that is that close proximity to powerful information alters us genetically for all time. And if the powerful information is positive, like a dream sheet,
Yes.
we are changed once and for all.
Sharing, yes, it is. Sharing that dream also helps bring it to reality too, doesn't it?
It does. It does. I think I mentioned in the class yesterday, I gave a talk once in a very large beauty salon that hired me to come and speak to them, which I love to do that, by the way. And what happened in the salon was one young lady said, well, my dream is, they were going around the room and everybody was sharing their dream, and they pulled out their little paper card. And one lady said, I want to go and marry my fiance who is handsome, who I love, but we wanted to get married in Italy, we just can't. We can't afford it, it won't work. So I'm standing at the head of the class and saying, look, I'm a United Airlines million-mile flyer. I've got some miles. You're going to Italy. How about that? Well, the moment she had said it, it fired me to provide transportation. The second step was one of the people said, God, my sister's a travel agent. You're going to stay in a villa when you get married over there. And the owner of this salon bravely and beautifully stepped up and said, if you can get the time, you can get the miles, you can get the place to go, you got the time off and we'll cover your book, you won't miss a thing.
Wow.
Had she not said, my dream is, the rest of us would not have known what to pitch in.
Amazing. And it's about living in the now.
Oh, absolutely, yes. And yeah, because we think, one of the members of our class years ago, I told you, I mentioned yesterday, brought a little bag for us. And he asked us to write B-A-G on it was a little popcorn bag. And he gave it to everybody in the class, said bag. B is where we've been. And that makes us who we are right now. A is where we are. And G is where we're going. His point was that wherever you go, when you reach in the bottom of this bag, my business card is there if you want. Every one of you in this class can call me. We made friends that way. It is where we stand right this moment, the now,
Yes.
that makes life so wonderful. Not hankering for better, which is really what this book is about, is the fact that I've always wanted to be here. I got you, I got a new friend, I mean, and you're a big TV guy. I think it's so cool. So that's what now is.
There's something else in this book that really resonated with me. You were talking about celebration as a way of life,
Yes.
happiness a way of worship.
Yes.
Tell me more.
Well, you are a good reader. You have a good memory, too. Well, celebration is something that we do in every moment. And I think often people go, well, I'm waiting for Sunday. And I'll meet my friends after the office on Friday. We'll go have a drink. That's just great. But why I have always asked, aren't we celebrating this moment? Think of the things done. You know, you heard me say yesterday that we lost a daughter in a traffic accident. She was 21 years old when she died. What a wonderful child Barbie was to all of us. We always said Barbie was Christmas. In the movie Arthur, which most of your viewers won't remember, but it was a wonderful little actor, Dudley Moore, who played a drunk guy. And one of the things he said when his butler, Sir John Gielgud, the great actor, when Hobson died, he was talking to a guy in a bar. And the guy said to him, you know, where have you been? He said, well, my father died, so I stayed sober. And the drunk next to him said, oh, God, don't these parents know what they do to us? And Arthur said, no, I was lucky to have known him at all. So having Barbie in our life for 21 years, cause for celebration. Of course, it was immensely painful to all of us when she passed. But there's always reason for celebration. And those of us that reach in and find that and pull that to us, find that our life becomes not only happier, but
Yes.
much healthier.
And then that happiness is a form of worship, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Yes, absolutely, in the purest way, because it's simple, it's honest, it is, happiness is always a thank you. And
Yeah.
thank you is what religion, great religion, is all about. Thank you, I say thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for this moment.
You were talking in the workshop about listening. And I
Yes.
think this is really important. We listen with our eyes, we listen with our ears, but we need to listen to with our heart. And the difference that makes is what?
You hear the complete sentence, the moment, the time, the pain, the joy. You're listening for not how do I respond when you stop talking, but I am hearing as I listen. So I take a breath and I say, I got it. And the person speaking to you says, you really do get it. And that is the joy of life. And we miss so many, many things by being in a rush. I just read recently, forgive me, I don't remember where, Diane, but someone told a story about a child who came into the room with a family and said, I wish I were a cell phone.
Yes.
Father said, why? He said, because you give all your attention to your cell phone and you pay no attention to me. I have a cell phone, parked right over there. We turned it off to be good kids for our interview. But the fact is, it doesn't control life. It is separate from, it goes away when we have dinner at the dinner table. So it's that part of listening, that part of being there. And that is a celebration in itself.
Happiness, celebration. If we were to capsulize who you are, what you're about, what you want to impart to the world, what would that be?
That I love you, that I love people. I love people that take the moment to say, I'd like to know you, or I'd like to share with you as you've done. You've been wonderful about that. That's my joy, because I keep filling up. I remember once standing in front of an audience of 2,500 people from all over the world giving a talk, and I was so happy, and I did my work and I'd done my homework. When I was done, 2,500 people stood up and they were clapping. For a moment I thought they were clapping for me, and it flashed on my screen so big, pal. You have given them the most incredible gift, because they are clapping for themselves and their dreams. And that way, I go to bed at night, put away that applause, and start over tomorrow morning, just like you do with a broadcast. I say to myself, so, okay, what do I have to do now to be great? What do I have to do better? How can I do better? So,
You have so much joy, and that's one thing that just attracts me to you, and I know it attracts a lot of people to you too. We all go through different times that may be difficult.
yes.
We need to put them in perspective, right?
Absolutely right. And I think I have other classes that I do. In one of the classes, I talk about the dream sheet. For me, the dreams are physical.
Mm-hmm.
I want to remain limber and strong. I want to be able to surf with my kids, my grandkids, and now my great-grandkids. I want to do that. To do that, I want to be 100%. I have to eat and drink wisely, try to remain limber and strong, you know. Financially, I want to earn enough money to care for those that I love, and I would love to earn just a little bit more for my friends, like the people at Angel Flight that fly the veterans around. I want to do that. Emotionally, I want to be a little less happy. I love to say that because people go, what?
Yeah.
What? You're that?
Right.
What? Because happy and joy live in the same house, but they are very different. Happy is a temporary. We have a margarita. We have a glass of wine. We had a great brunch together, you and I. I love it. But it's over when it's over. The secret is, go ahead, you're going to
joy.
You have it. It's absolutely.
And joy.
I want to increase the amount of joy
Yes.
in my life. And to do that, you have to reduce the amount of happy.
Yeah.
Permanent.
Wow. We're going to take a brief pause. We've got a final thought. Stay with us. We've been talking with Doug Cox. He's the author of Shaboom, The Power of Positive Aging. It is available on Amazon, and you can go there and find this book. Doug, give us a final thought, something to leave us with.
To make permanent joy of your life, I have learned to treasure fond memories, look with hope to the future, and believe in this moment because it's the only one you're going to get.
Yeah. Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful, thinking about that. This book is wonderful. There's a lot of pages that we can write, and that's what you encourage us to do because it is a journey together.
Yes, ma'am.
With what you are guiding us to look at, to make our dreams come true and to live in that moment. Happiness, joy, as we just talked about earlier, because that's really the place.
Yes.
And the importance, as we've stressed many times, of living in that moment and taking life as it comes for, you know, the beauty that it offers.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being with us today and sharing with us your life story briefly and what you're doing and how you're guiding us too.
Thank you, Diane.
Thank you so much for being here. Yes, we'd like to thank you for being with us today too. I'm Diane Dayton with Behind the Lines, and remember, look behind the lines. You might be surprised what you find.